Welcome to this edition of the Government News Brief for Monday, October 31st, 2016. In the news, Leg 1 residents get asphaltic roads. The Ministry of Public Health rolls out campaign on leprosy prevention in East Coast schools, and Natural Resources Ministry to establish task force to tackle illegal mining. Stay tuned for the details. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta Fleur. Here now are the details. Leg 1 residents are benefiting from asphaltic roads for the first time. Details in this Delon Sancho report.
The Minister of Public Infrastructure, David Patterson, says for many years the road in Leg 1 Island has been without asphaltic roads.
It's about 60% complete. I have my mobile asphalt plant up there. I mean, a full team of engineers and workers and those things like that. Should be completed within a week or two. And we're doing as much work, hopefully as much as the entire Leg 1, if not as much work as possible there.
Minister within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Annette Ferguson, told Gina that despite the many challenges experienced, work is moving apace.
A few days we had the mobile asphalt plant down with its generation, but we were able to have that rectified, so it's currently up and running. So the team from the Special Projects Unit within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, they are continuing all the necessary works.
Minister Patterson says he is happy to bring relief to the residents of Region 3 community, which is primarily involved in agriculture. Delon Sancho for the Government News Brief.
Leprosy is not a public health threat in Guyana, but the subject ministry is working to prevent an increase in cases through a public education campaign targeting schools. More from Delicia, Haynes.
8 schools from the east coast of Demerara participated in a leprosy awareness poster competition. Minister within the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Karen Cummings, explains.
The Ministry of Public Health will continue to intensify efforts towards early detection of leprosy cases, provide equitable access to appropriate and best quality treatment, and provide integrated leprosy services in geographically focused areas across Guyana. Today, I commend the Leprosy Unit for taking leprosy awareness to schools in a very creative manner. I urge that you build on the successes of this initiative and gradually work at establishing a national awareness of leprosy.
Leprosy, also known as Hansen's disease, is caused by a type of bacteria that multiplies very slowly. Its incubation period can last up to 20 years, and it mainly affects the skin and outer nerves. It can result in severe physical disfiguration. Guyana has made significant strides in eliminating the disease through awareness mediums.
Together, let us make every possible effort to spread awareness about leprosy, its treatment, its care, and rehabilitation of our infected patients. Over the years, the scourge of leprosy has remained an indelible blot on humanity. There is a great need to empower those who have been socially discriminated on account of leprosy through advocacy and information dissemination.
Schools along the East Coast were selected to participate in this competition based on statistics which showed most new cases were from the Demerara-Mahaica region. The message echoed on these posters was to broadcast that leprosy is preventable and curable. For the Government News Brief, I am Delicia, Haynes.
The Ministry of Natural Resources will establish a task force to clamp down on illegal activities in the extractive sector. Tiffny Rhodius has the details.
Recognizing the negative impact of illegal activity across the extractive sector, the Ministry of Natural Resources will soon roll out a corps of wardens to tackle this scourge.
The Ministry of Natural Resources is on the verge of introducing into the entire extractive industry sector a corps of wardens who will come with law enforcement authority and will not tolerate illegal activities within the sector.
The specially trained wardens are expected to enhance the enforcement effort of the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission, the GGMC, Lawrence adds.
But when the corps of wardens come into the sector, they will come with law enforcement authority. And so that would strengthen the enforcement some more.
Acting Commissioner of the GGMC, Newell Dennison, says the wardens will fill existing gaps in the organization, which is challenged by a lack of qualified human resources for monitoring in the sector.
If there's an immediacy of a law enforcement response that is required, those wardens are able to treat with that. So it is in that manner that I see it as trying to fill a gap that exists right now.
However, Dennison notes that a concerted effort is also needed to address the economic factors that lead to illegal mining.
We need to find alternatives that would remove some of the pressure, some of the economic drivers that lead people into mining, on the one hand, and to create an atmosphere where if someone wants to get into mining, they're properly prepared for it.
The Ministry of Natural Resources has a zero-tolerance policy against illegal activities in the extractive sector, for which it has oversight responsibility. For the Government News Brief, I'm Tiffny Rogers.
The Guyana Sugar Corporations need to be balanced within budgetary constraints, says Prime Minister Moses Nagamotu. More in this report.
The National Assembly recently voted to give the Guyana Sugar Corporation an additional $2 billion to assist its operations. This is in addition to $9 billion it received earlier this financial year.
If the agencies asked for money, you must give. You must not reduce the amount. No government worked that way. And that is why we had ended up, in the state, Gaisuku ended up with over $85 billion in debt. And we had ended up in this country so much in debt. We have gone beyond our means, so we were living on borrowed money. This coalition government will not go down that road.
The Guyana Sugar Corporation, Gaisuku, has already recorded a whopping $6 billion deficit in its accounts for the first half of 2016. But this is being masked by the $9 billion subsidy that was handed to the entity by the government.
For many years, we were trying to have changes in the law to allow certain constitutional bodies to be independent, meaning independent financially as well as in their administration of their entities.
Prime Minister Nagamotu notes that the previous government invested so much money into the failing industry that they ended up in tremendous debt, and by extension, the economy suffered.
Sugar workers are clamoring for a bailout. Last year, we gave sugar workers $12 billion. This year so far, we gave sugar workers a bailout, $11 billion. If you took all the money and you just decided to hand it out just because requests have been made by agencies, what will be there for public servants when they want to have increases in wages?
I am Zanil Williams for the Government News Brief.
Collaboration between the Ministry of Public Health and the non-governmental organizations continues to aid the early detection of cancer. Neola Damon reports.
Founder and president of Giving Hope Foundation, Dr. Latoya Gooding, says that a screening activity conducted at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, GP8C, yesterday saw scores of persons benefiting. Dr. Gooding is also General Medical Officer at the GP8C. The Cancer Institution Organization for Social and Health Advancement for Guyana, Caribbean, OSHAG, and Health and Education Relief Organization for Cancer, EROC, were part of the activity. EROC's President Lenora Welshman-Neblett explains.
We have 6 nurses on the team, 2 are critical care nurses, and we formed EROC as an organization wanting to give back to our country. We wanted to be a support group with health care in Guyana, specifically geared to cancer.
Screening for breast, cervical, and prostate and oral cavity cancer was done. Welshman-Neblett says that she created EROC to help persons from her adopted homeland, the United States. It has also become a support group in Guyana, especially to help persons battling cancer. Welshman-Neblett notes that EROC will provide supplies for the oncology unit of the GPHC.
Going forward, we have lots in store for Giving Hope Foundation. As a matter of fact, we are waiting to clear huge shipment of medical supplies that we've shipped, and it arrived here. So hopefully by tomorrow we'll be able, by the latest Wednesday, to do a presentation of medical supplies. In addition to that, we brought with us, for all the women who have gone through chemo and lost their hair, we have about 50 wigs to help them feel beautiful about themselves. In addition to that, we brought prosthetics for the women that have lost their breasts. We have the matching bras for them.
I'm Neola Damon for Government News Brief.
The Tourism Ministry will intensify efforts in 2017 to further boost diaspora tourism. Here is more from Zanil Williams.
Director General of Tourism, Donald Sinclair, says the aim is to improve and make diaspora tourism more sophisticated, which will contribute to the overall enhancement of Guyana.
We get frequent visits from persons in the diaspora who want to offer their help, who want to play a role in driving more Guyanese to visit Guyana. It is not as easy as saying, oh, they're Guyanese, so they must come. No, that would be a serious mistake. The diaspora has to be marketed, yes, marketed in some cases differently from the way you be marketed to other other core groups.
Sinclair adds that as the tourism sector grows, there are other alternatives to take into consideration to attract people to Guyana.
We are looking at different markets, like the weekenders, for example. You can come into Guyana, spend an exciting weekend and leave. And other niche markets that we're looking at, yachts and cruises, for example. We're looking to grow some specific markets and to identify what you can call some hotspots.
Some of the hotspots identified are the Rupununi, Bartica, Essequibo, some areas of Kanji and Demerara, and the Mahaica River. Guyana is known for its birding, fishing, and ecotourism potential. I am Zanil Williams for the Government News Brief.
That has brought us to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website. GINA has an active Facebook page, and we encourage you to visit and like us so you can be informed as the news unfolds. Do join us again tomorrow for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renetta Fleur. Thank you for watching.